Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today's video is a little bit different. I thought we could sit down and chat, go over some goal setting strategies, and then talk about specific goals that I have for the upcoming new year. I have a beautiful cup of tea and a gluten-free scone that Sid made. So if you have a cozy drink or a snack, go ahead and grab one. Maybe get a little journal, because today we're goal setting. Last year I did the same thing. I really think there are huge benefits to setting goals at the end of a year and reflecting on what you've accomplished and what you might need to work more on from the existing year moving into a new year. Goal setting for me has allowed me to grow and expand much more comfortably and confidently than I ever have in the past. I don't know if this is the best way to plan and set goals, but this is how I do it and how it makes sense for me. So I'm hoping that this video will either bring you some comfort or inspire you to do some goal setting or intention setting, whatever you prefer to call it, and however you approach it is perfect, because if it works for you, then that's all that matters. So I don't want this to be a video of like the perfect format that you have to follow, because it's definitely not, but it does make sense to me. And I know in the past I've looked for specifically equestrian type goal setting videos, and there's not a whole lot out there. So I'm gonna go over the outline with you, and I'm going to share my goals with the horses, just show you the format, how I track things, how I set miniature goals for larger goals. If you have personal goals that you don't feel confident or comfortable sharing yet, having secret goals that are meaningful to you but you aren't ready to publicly or even privately share with loved ones is completely understandable. And I spent pretty much all of last year keeping all of my goals and plans to myself, and that was very important to me at the time. Now I'm ready to kind of share what my goals are. I also wanted to reflect on 2025 and revisit a few really beautiful moments and talk about things I learned in 2025 that I want to bring into the new year. But it's also important to leave certain parts behind, and sometimes a new year just feels like a completely fresh start, and it can be very motivating. And I wanted to show you how I break it down and how I make the format something I can check up on throughout the year, so it's not just something that I do for the New Year's and then forget about, but it's something I come back to throughout the year and then reflect on at the end of the year. I don't really have a work-life balance. I work outside of home and I also work at home. So for me right now at this moment in my life, I'm working pretty much all the time, but I know that's what I want to be doing and that's what I need right now. It doesn't need to be particularly sustainable. And that is something I need to work on for this upcoming year, is incorporating some hobbies that are a bit relaxing to come down from some of my stress. But for me personally, I'm completely obsessed with horses. I'm completely all in on eventing, and I want to dedicate all of my time to these specific goals. I'm not suggesting you do that, but that's where I'm at, kind of completely diving in to eventing, and I wanted to show you the layout for that. Okay, so the format that I've chosen for this year is very bare boned. It's not super like artistic or beautiful, and I think that if you love spending time doing that, I think you definitely should. And also, if those visual aids help you, definitely do that. But for me, this is what makes sense. My 2026 goals, I'm gonna share with you just a snippet of them, and how I'm going to break it down into something that's accomplishable. So the first one I have is move up to prelim with Rowan. For this specific goal, I have to do a lot of specific other goals. So this is the main goal. Steps to accomplish the main goal is where I would put here. this is where I would put in what I need to accomplish within our training at home, what we need to accomplish to move up to training modified, and then what we would need to do within that specific level to be able to move up to prelim. So it's all going to be listed here underneath, and I like to be as specific as possible. So I'm going to put the events up here with the dates and what level I'm going to plan to compete at with her. Another goal is take Ruby to a dressage show. Again, lots of things need to happen before we can reach that goal. I'll have to take her off property to do specific lessons with my trainer, and I have to make sure that we can perform everything that's asked within a certain level of test. So those are things I would put on the steps here. And then of course, what competition would I sign up for? And she also needs to, if I go to a recognized dressage event, I also have to make her a profile for usdf, which is the Dressage Federation for the United States. Another big goal is taking Ruby to a recognized event. This one takes a lot of preparations, making sure she's confident going cross country, making sure we have our dressage in order, making sure that we take her off property to go cross country schooling, probably do a derby show, and then go to a recognized event from there. So it might take the entire year, and then at the end of the season, get to the event. It might not even happen this year. I'd like to apply for partnerships with companies that I really admire. I also am wanting to, and am saving up to, expand our stables and add in more stabling at our facility, because I would love to eventually expand our breeding program and our horse producing program at home, so I don't need to outsource with the other barns that I work at. I'd also love to take Ruby to a clinic. I've taken Rowan to clinics this past year and previous years as well, and I think it's such a wonderful thing to invest money and time into, getting your horse out to specific clinics. So a couple other goals that I did not include on here yet because it's kind of expanding, and I've been working on it and will continue to work on it through the rest of December. I really want to qualify for AECs this year, and if you don't know what that is, it's the American Eventing Championships, which is hosted at the Kentucky Horse Park this year. I would want to qualify to compete in that this year, which I've never done previously. That's been a dream of mine, to compete at the Eventing Championships with Rowan specifically. So if we can qualify to do that, that would be an absolute dream come true. Another section of my goal setting is putting together the show schedule, ones that I could go to because of their location, their dates, and what divisions they offer. So this is for last year. I would update it, of course, for this year, and then put all of these together with their dates, and then I put it in my calendar and make sure that I also have the opening closing date for each of these shows. I would also leave a space for the 2026 clinic schedule. I have a really wonderful stable that I work out of that hosts a lot of clinics and also has a whole schedule that they put out in the spring. And then this is something that I think is really important to put on your goals, is your long-term vision and what all of these larger goals align with for you. You can do this in pretty much any software that you have access to. You could also do something physical. So something I like to do to review the year is go back and look at my journals. I got this at the beginning of the year, and it's something I'm still filling out, but it's really helpful to look through old journals, notes that I took during lessons, competitions, or clinics, and then to continue documenting all of that information into the new year. That's a really important step. You also can make all of these plans in a journal. I also keep all of my dressage tests. I like to look over the comments and remember what I need to work on for the upcoming year and with winter and spring training. So I wanted to do a little bit of reflection on 2025 because it was a really influential year for me, and so many things that I did not even think were possible ended up becoming possible and attainable. We were able to install an outdoor riding arena, which I never could have even imagined. That's a huge milestone for me. I imported a horse for the first time, just from Canada, but and purchased a horse independently without help from a coach or instructor. I also was able to start our breeding program through that purchase and dive into the world of breeding, and that has been a lifelong dream of mine. So it really reassured that that's what I want to continue doing. Things that I really did learn through experience this past year is patience with developing horses at any stage, because this past season of competing, I went to one show with Rowan, which was a huge accomplishment, and I was able to do it safely. I learned really that to meet goals, you have to stay consistent and you have to stay patient. It can be really difficult when you come up to different obstacles, and this past year, the obstacles I had were keeping Rowan sound with her foot soreness and staying very patient. We had a drought, so the ground was very hard, and we had to do a lot of trial and error, making sure her feet were comfortable. So it was a lot of starting and stopping. My health was a bit up and down, so being patient with that and trying not to be discouraged. Accepting change in plans. So my goal last year was not to go to one show, but to go to many shows and to move up. And I had to be okay with changing the plans and always putting my horse first, which, I mean, that seems obvious, but it is so frustrating in the moment to make that decision. And of course I would always make that decision, but making sure that you are emotionally able to make that decision and not beat yourself up about it. That's something I've really needed to work on, and I feel like I have a better handle on. I also learned that I want to inconvenience myself more for others, and others for me right now means animals. We opened up our home this past year to fostering different cats, and before that I was volunteering at a local shelter whenever I had the free time. So in the future I want to continue fostering and inconveniencing myself to help others, because I think it's kind of a lost art. I also learned that I can put myself out there more through YouTube and also through networking and connecting with other people, other horse people in particular. Just going out and making connections, or even messaging people and emailing them. I've been making sure to reach out to Rowan's breeder regularly and have a good relationship with her. Having other people there to support or give advice to me as a young rider and a young breeder is invaluable. So that's something I used to be too afraid to do, and this past year I really pushed myself out of my comfort zone and reached out to as many people as I could. I'd like to continue building the partnerships that I have with Rowan, Ruby, and Teddy, and I want to continue making videos and putting myself out there on YouTube. Last year, I was having some pretty serious health issues that were pretty scary, and during that time, I was watching nonstop YouTube videos and from other riders particularly in eventing, but not all eventing. And engaging with content like that, for me, helped me in so many ways that I don't know where I would be without having that influence. And it gave me a lot of hope, and it gave me a purpose, and it gave me a community that I didn't have in person. When you have these dreams of getting out there with your horses and competing, or even just spending time with them, and that's taken away from you, it can be really discouraging. Every single one of you that has been watching my videos and commenting, I read every single one of them, and I love you all so much, and I appreciate the time that you spend with me. I hope that you can set some really exciting goals for yourself in 2026, and I hope that we get to spend a lot of time together. So thank you again for watching another one of my videos, and I am so excited for the year ahead of us, and I can't wait to share it all with you. Bye!